Welcome to Queener Lax, Lax and Poetic. I'm your host, Bryce Queener. We're going to talk all things lax on this show with some of the greatest personalities in the sport. Be sure to check out our sponsor, QueenerLax.com, for swag, camps, and clinics. Got questions? Want to hear something? Get in our DMs at QueenerLax. Hey, thanks for listening. And remember, ABC, always be cradling. Okay, everybody, welcome. Lax in the News Update. It is November 2nd, 2020. Also, Election Day, so giving you a little break from that. Our top news as we see them in the sport this week. Number one, November is Native American Heritage Month. So a lot of great information coming out this month, celebrating the culture of Native American people. And obviously on this show, one thing we love in the culture is the game of lacrosse. And we've been gifted that by the Native people, and excited to, so thankful for that. I was thinking before I even started the show, like, what would my life even be like without lacrosse? I don't even know. I guess I'd mountain bike more, but I don't think, lacrosse kind of got me into all sports. So obviously thank you so much, and just love learning about the Native American heritage and culture. And so all month, we have some great news. Already there's an article on uslaxmagazine.com with Lyle Thompson called Spirit versus Sport. Lyle's big quote in there I liked was, "That stick is life. It came from life. And in our culture, that's just energy." I love the idea that the stick comes from life, the wooden stick. That's a really good article. Another piece I saw yesterday on Instagram, Team Iroquois Instagram, Cody Jamieson, talking about the new game, then how the origins of the game being a medicine game, and how it still can be. So that's really cool. Team Iroquois IG, I think it was via CBC. Cody, former teammate, former 88. Hope all's well, Cody. Cody did a great job in that video. Another Instagram, we talked about last week on the show with a guest, Brendan Bomberry. He has started this company called Turtle Island Lacrosse, and they are really trying to bring cultural awareness of their heritage to people and understand. We talked for a while how Brendan, he wants to teach people about their culture, but also learn other people's cultures. They've said on their Instagram, he said, Bomber, who's also doing Turtle Island with Randy Stotts. So on his Instagram yesterday, they'll be posting informative things about their culture, schools, missing and murdered women, treaties. So that should be very informative and very interesting all month. That's Turtle Island Instagram. So check that out. And again, listen to Bomber on last week's show, episode 8. He's outstanding. Just one of my favorite people I've ever was able to coach at the Hill Academy, and then just be around. And he's such a great dude, such a great player. All these guys. So some real interesting thoughts by them, and then should be a good month to learn more about Native American heritage. Number 2, NLL announces April as tentative start date. Just wishful thinking. I'm glad they said something. People I've talked to say the NLL, unlike the MLL, who had I know the letters get so annoying. The MLL had a TV deal with ESPN. The PLL had a TV deal with NBC. The NLL, I don't even know if they have a TV deal. Like, the last thing I remember paying for is Bleacher Report Live. And even as I say that, I should probably make sure they're not charging me monthly right now. We're on budget cut season, as most of us are. So might need to figure that out. But NLL's relying on fans. The front office people I've talked to, kind of the arenas, the groups that get real good cuts out of the arena: parking, concessions, ticket sales, jersey sales. I've heard some teams, don't get any of that, and those are the teams that don't make money. But the teams that have that's really how they're funding this whole operation. And I think their commissioner's been really good. He's been able to expand the league already, and everything I've heard about him has been good. So I like that they put a date out there. I just think it's super tentative, obviously, like everything. So I don't hate it, but I do hate the fact that it could cause serious overlap And as much as a lot of us like box lacrosse as a training tool, I'd rather watch the PLL or the MLL. As far as TV, just watching games, I'd rather watch that. Box to me, if you could somehow get it back to the MILL days, the mill, where they were going back and forth two ways. But once the Ontario Raiders, little history lesson here, once the Ontario Raiders started playing offense, defense, 5 out, 5 out, the fast breaking box has been long dead. It can be very, very slow game. I actually didn't really realize it. I was talking to Dallas Bridle, who's on, I think he's on Rochester now, Nighthawks. Yeah, he's on Roch. I was talking to him. I took our former principal, me and Merrick Thompson took our principal at the Hill Academy at the time to his first game, basketball guy, Canadian guy, great guy, beauty. We took him to his first game in the ACC, and every time the defense would come up the floor, he thought they had a fast break because the 5 guys were subbing out. And there's that moment second where the 5 platoon doesn't come on, and he's like, go in. It was all night. We kept explaining to him where he can't get in. He can't make it. Like, as soon as he tries to go to the goal, those 3 D men are coming out the back door and going to stop him. And he's like, that's stupid the whole night. And that kind of really light bulbed me how hard it is for fans to pick that up. It's always interesting. Take a fan to a field, or I've done it on both sides, pro field and pro box, to a game. They love it, but they have their questions are interesting. So now that I brought it up on the field side, when we did that, it was Lamport Stadium in the Toronto Nationals MLL. I was healthy scratch, so I was sitting in the crowd with a girlfriend at the time and her parents, and they just couldn't understand the face-off. That was back when they were wrestling for 20 minutes per face-off, and they just hated it. So that was kind of when I became anti-face-off more. I knew I didn't really like the way it was going, but when I took new people to a game and watched that. So both sides. So NLL, I think if they fix that, I'd want to watch it more, but that's gonna bother me if it takes away a lot of the pro field players. We'll see. Hopefully we still have pro field this summer, and it's not an issue. Maybe they go later. Number 3, Hampton Suspends 2021 season, delaying the debut of Chaz Woodson. I think Chaz is going to crush it there, so I'm a little sad for that news. Sorry for everybody on Hampton, everybody involved in that. I think this year expectations are so different, unless you're a fall sport, right? Like, apparently spring sports are the only ones that could ever be canceled, because fall sports just can't give it up. They got to try to ruin everything. But I really think that if we can practice, if we can just play a lot with teams and get some games in, that's a win. So hopefully Hampton can still practice. I'm not clear on that necessarily, but I do really want to see Chaz succeed there, and I think he will. Love watching him play. Didn't love playing against him. Love watching him play. Number 4. So good luck to him. Number 4, IL Women top recruiting class for 21 is out on the IL Women website. Check it out. These kids haven't signed yet. So as I'm a college women's coach right now, I don't know if I can really comment on players. So I'm just going to, hey, check it out. I love that they're doing more and more other recruiting news, like the guy side I've mentioned on the show a lot. The top D1 women's is super fun to watch. The Pro League we mentioned last week is out this summer. That's going to be really cool. So get involved. Number 5, D3 won't charge extra year of eligibility this year, is announced this week. We talked about it last week. JUCO has already announced that. Basically, I brought it up because people keep asking me the last couple months. I'm like, what does it matter? Like last spring, I mean, and it does matter. But my point is, last spring, again, we actually got canceled. Fall sports, for whatever reason, just can never stop playing. I know some fall sports at the college level have been training since August, like nonstop. Meanwhile, I mean, we like spring sports, and I'm not complaining about how our university handles it. They're doing a good job. I'm talking about all over the country, but is D1 next is where I'm going with this, and D3 is everybody just going to keep getting years back? I think they will. And then everybody's like, well, what's that going to do? I don't think it's going to change a lot. I think the kids who really can maybe get a master's somewhere else, that's what's really going to drive them to stay around longer. But we got to remember that a lot of these kids, especially let's just take D3, are paying to be there. So you can't just pay to be in school for 8 years. Well, a lot of families can, but some can't. So I think that and roster size is going to dictate a lot of it, and if their kids are staying around or their friends are staying around. But very interesting dynamic. Hopefully, we're all playing this spring. Number 6, Dick Watts died last week. I did not know Dick. My boss, head coach DU Liza Kelly, knew him, asked me if I knew him. I read about him on US Lax magazine this morning, read about him on Twitter a little bit last week. Fascinating guy. Won a national championship at UMBC, the only one, any sport ever. Went on in administration, helped elevate the whole department to Division One. So RIP Dick, National Lacrosse Hall of Fame member, did a lot for the sport. So RIP to him. Let's go with number 7, coaching tip of the week. I might not stay with this every week, but this week I'm going to give you one. Don't overcoach. It took me a while, and I know some people that I've worked with think I undercoach at times. I'd rather caution on the undercoach than overcoach. I coach offense. I mean, I'll use this example here. People think you need to coach every single shot. I mean, could you imagine if you're a defender and everybody coached every single breakdown step you ever took, every single ground ball, so that's a big one that I see rookie coaches do. We've talked a lot about how cone dancing is an epidemic right now in a pandemic, and there's just so much more to the game. Same with shooting. We got to figure out how to create more scorers. Coach Hobart talked about that on the podcast. So he's using a lot more objects now when they shoot on net. And obviously I still coach a lot of shooting, a lot of shots we talk about, but not just everyone. And I try really hard if a kid misses a shot, not to get right on them right away, just because that I know they're already thinking about it. And I'd like to wait until they make one. If it becomes a problem, you obviously got to address it. But this is even in like stick warm-ups. I do a lot of cradling stuff. And we name them and stuff. And a lot of people get them wrong. And I've seen coaches just try to grab their stick immediately and be like, watch me. Well, most kids don't learn by watching you cradle their stick. They learn by failing and doing. And here's the other thing that I really am passionate about when I'm coaching. Everybody does it different. So I'm trying to figure out, when I show you something and you don't do it exactly like I do it, I'm trying in my head to be like, will that work? Right? Because if obviously they're cradling back behind their head and they're exposed and they're doing some silly stuff, you gotta nip that in the butt. But if it's just a little different, try to check that out. So that's my tip of the week. Don't overcoach it. Upstate update. If you go to justlacrosse.com, like we mentioned, it's Native American Heritage Month. So a lot of links to all the articles I mentioned earlier are on there. There's also an article about, can it really be fall or November in fall without the Tully Upstate Cornfield Classic? Tully Cornfield Classic. Everybody knows you've been to Tully. We used to go there with the Hill Academy as one of my most fun experiences in lacrosse. Being a son of a coach from upstate New York, he was there. My dad would be there with Penny Ann. We'd be there with the Hill Academy. Every single coach in the country was there, Coach Urich. And the Hill, we would just dominate because a lot of these teams would be coming out of football or soccer and not really playing much lacrosse. And we've been playing for 3 months straight, and we're just trying to get recruited. And so, we would just blow teams out of the water all day. It was fun. Winning does not get old. It was really fun. And I will say, one year we beat a team there 15-2. Now, most teams we beat like 20-1, and we were just having fun, hooting and hollering and getting after it, scoring 6 goals. And I remember Dan Littner one time just went off down there. Zach Miller used to just dominate down there. And the first time I ever saw Randy Stats play was at Tully Cornfield Classic. I wasn't coaching him. I was actually assistant coach at Binghamton recruiting. And I was like, whoa, I think this guy's better than Mike Powell. That was Randy in grade 9. So I hear you. No Tully packed. I want to go back just to hang out someday. If I continue to coach women's, I think I'm going to go to Tully someday just to high five everybody. Draft Tex boys there with the white chili. Great event. Upstate. Gotta love it. Election update. I voted. If you follow me on Twitter, Coach Q88, at Coach Q88, you would not be shocked at all who I voted for. I'm a Biden guy. But we said to the team yesterday, a lot of us coaches 2016 didn't see this coming, or at least I didn't, right? Went to practice the next day, and I was shocked how divided the group was. And, we can be divided away from the field as a nation, but when we're with our teams, we got to stay together. Big part of why we coach, why we're on teams, why we do it. So kind of thought the first time I'd had these teammates at Georgetown who were like, you probably voted for Hillary, didn't you? First time we'd ever talk politics with my team. I think I was a junior. Hillary was running for U.S. Senate, and I did. And I told them, and they were super mad. And I just and these are two dudes I got along with great. I actually still talk to one of them today. Great guy. And he's on the other side, and we're still friends, and we're still great teammates. We got to get back to some of that somehow. But Grandpa Quinger would be pumped to know I voted again. So keeping the tradition alive, and try to keep your teams alive out there together. Obviously, we're going to stay alive, but keep them together. All right. We made it through the show. What? Snow update. We're back Friday, my birthday, November 6th. They open up Epic Resorts. I'm an Epic Pass holder this year and last year. So Keystone opens up. Probably going to go with Coach Britt. Maybe former Coach Shannon's going to go. We're not sure yet, but we're going skiing after practice more likely, and probably on the weekend. So y'all have a great one. And thanks for tuning in to the show. And remember, ABC, always be cradling. I'll talk to you next week.